Hi family. Hi for all you newbies who are here today. I feel so happy that you found me, and you're welcome to be here. And I'm so glad that you are with really amazingly deep, insightful people. You're going to feel more and more connected. Even the comments, people are connecting to each other, and if anybody gets married, I want to come. I feel really amazing about that. I just want to also say that there is now, I believe the name is WISIO, I think WISIO. Anyway, they have a service where I'm able, finally, to answer any personal questions, no topic off guards, with a personal video back to you for $25. And so that'll take just a few days. And if it's a rush, just let me know. You're like SOS. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to do that for you guys. It can be on any personal issue that's going right now. It can also be if you have a health injury or a health issue and you want to know the energetic thought that is linked to that is holding your energy stuck. I will be able to get that for you, and I will be able to correct that thought and that energy. Whatever question burns in your heart, okay? Oh, that's so fun and exciting. I will be linking it down below, okay? So now, I just wanted to address that I'm just feeling it is a time of worms coming out to play. What I mean by that is I just feel like a lot of you are having narcs come back, reconnect, narc family, narc exes, old people that should have been left where they slid down the gutter, but for some reason you're reconnecting, and now, even though you might be strong or you've closed the door on them, it kind of reignites fears, and now here comes something that's really haunting you. How can you make sure, like really just know you will never pick a narc again? Never, so that you can be completely free. A lot of you are scared that you'll pick a narc again. I know because I have you letting me know that. And I just want to emphasize one thing. It's not, even especially when I hear, I don't trust men, period. I don't trust men. Or I don't trust women. He's had a lot of narcs as well. It's not that you don't trust men. It's that you don't trust yourself with men. And it's not that you don't trust women, my love. It's that you don't trust yourself with women. And so, when we look at narcs, and yes, there's a lot of vids on tail signs, stuff like that, but people know those signs. Why are you still scared? Because it's not ingrained in you. The alignment that makes sure it singes any narc vibe from 100 miles away and redirects it elsewhere. And so what I do have to say, just very simple, it's not about learning signs of a narc. Although they can be helpful, but that's like having the 10 steps to do when you're on your first date. I mean, you can read the book, but that other person is going to feel, is going to feel something that is not authentic, because there's going to be a separation gap between your mind memorization and producing verbiage or your hair or whatever else they tell you to do on the latest date things. And that other person is going to pick up on the contrived energy. And what that will do is it will match his contrived energy, and it'll amp it up. And so if you want to break that, I would say be authentic. You can be with someone who's been told so many times how to be with the date, and all of a sudden you're like fucking raw as hell, but you're open. You cut through a lot of things, but in a nice way. You don't have any bitterness. You're just like fun about it, right? You will then elevate them. And yes, I know, really, like send them a bill for your help, but no, you will elevate them to the level of authenticity, and at least you can have a fair start. So whoever has the most grounded energy will be able to do that without courage. Now, I want to talk about the mechanics of what goes on with a narc, which is rightfully called, what's it called again? The dark night of the soul. Yes, we've all had those moments, but it's not a night. It's like fucking epic, 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, whatever. So you hear that and you're like, oh, that's what it was. But for me personally, it's not comforting because it's like, what? So I had to suffer so I'd emerge out of a butterfly? Can we just look at the fucking facts? Can we just look at the mechanics of what's happening? Because when you learn the mechanics of what happened, you will never have any fear of fucking having another narc. It won't be there. It won't be there. So let's begin. Your environment of which you were born in, and as well as the media that is doing all this role reversal with women taking charge, so acting out of a masculine energy, which makes us do and push and give and sacrifice. And yeah, in the career, that's cool, but in a relationship, no, that's so toxic, because you are unplugged from your feminine energy because you're dominantly masculine energy. So you're going to be in the mode to give, in the mode to accommodate, in the mode to prove, in the mode to give, way before you have any emotional solidification with that guy. And with guys, it's very important because it takes them a long time to bake. It doesn't take us a long time to bake in our body. A skilled person can bake us really quickly. That's why we can't afford to have them down there in our oven. So here's what it is, very simply. Warped energies. Oh, let me get to the other points. So the media does one thing that warps our energies. It's off balance. But where you were born also severely warped your energies, because you, girl, did not have a father you could rely on, or he was a certain way. And so you learned and thought you have to work hard and struggle and do and give, because the love wasn't given freely just because you smiled, just because you're his, just because you're a girl. It just wasn't given. And you, dude, the mother was like a mummy. She was like bandaged up in flesh, but completely dead. And so your feminine energy will have to rise to do an overkill to try to nurture yourself and protect yourself by being overly sensitive and overly emotional. And you, girl, to protect yourself, the masculine energy will have to be in overdrive because you didn't get the protection energy of your dad, which is the world's energy. Because the spiritual energy is the feminine energy. And so you need to be logical, and you needed to be very driven, and you need to like calculate and put things in compartment and not listen to your feelings at all. Oh, and for fuck's sakes, don't ever be vulnerable, because, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's not safe out there to be vulnerable. Those are warped energies. When they grow in a paralyzed, crooked form, to make up for what was lacking growing up with a male and female role model energy. And so the one thing that these warped energies will always do, they will drag you, and I mean drag you, down the drain of pain. And you will go down that drainage, kicking and screaming, parts of you ripped off, fleshes parts here and there, whatever. And my God, I wish I could have been there to pick up each and every one of you when you fell and collapsed to the floor, the bed, when your mind was separated from your body because you lost it. I wish I could have held you I could have picked you up and I could have just had you look in my eyes, replug you into who you are, because I can see the gold. Yeah, and for those of you that don't see your gold, WISIO, ask me where your gold is. I'll just need a couple of, a little bit of information, your date of birth so I can get that vibrationally, your full name, and yeah, or just email me also with a picture because visually I get a lot. So moving right along. Now, that journey, dark night of the soul, we understand it had a reasoning. Just like being raised with your parents, those parents had a reasoning. It carved your fucking tools. It carved your magic. It carved your abilities to see in the dark, to sniff around the corner when danger would be here. And those instincts and those talents come very handy in the world. I mean, like a kickboxer champion would find that very useful. I find it really interesting that a lot of boxers come from really abusive homes. And a lot of anybody that's anybody have been able to be carved with so much skill that, because you can't get in school, right? No one can teach it to you, right? It needs to be carved out of your soul. But most people don't understand. Strength comes from no choice. That's where it lives. That's how it's born. And so that's why you were there. But for those that need to understand, when you go through this dark night of the soul, because of your energies being warped, it is a need to align you with your sacred self. And how does it do that? Mechanically speaking, you will go through the most wretched pain so that your heart, like literally, if I had a hammer and I could break, like just broke in half, that type of pain is inhuman. It's inhuman because you're still alive to feel it. So it's undescribable. And to come back from that, well, you're a whole other breed of a partly human. And so when it cracks open, guess what happens? The poison from the conditioning of the family, from your friends, from your schools, from the media, and everything you learn flows out of you. The pain. You are able to see, because there's nothing left of you to hang on to it with, the injustice, to see it for what it was. Although it's really hard to admit that because, again, you would have to restructure your whole belief system and you would have to rebuild your whole security base of trusting that they would always be there, trusting that this is love. And it's very scary to rebuild love in an adult manner. It's easier to rebuild with our imagination what we'd like love to be with. But once you're an adult, it's very, very difficult. It's like forced energy logic of what it is that I wanted. But it's just you go in with resistance because you feel like there's loyalty is severed. But see but being loyal to them was never loyalty. It was misplaced loyalty with you, betraying thyself, which is why you always expect the worst to happen. Because when you betray yourself, you feel guilty, and then you feel like, uh-oh, I did something wrong, something else. So you perpetuate that as well. It's that same energy pulling it in. So once you've cracked open and the pain has been gone, that pain aligns you, girl, now and plugs you into your feminine energy. So you no longer go on a date and have to produce all this conversation, a checklist of shit, make sure everything's smooth, just be a fucking producer. You now go as is, and you have this wait and see attitude. What are you presenting? Every time you go through hell, just like a woman who has a birth, she's a lot stronger than she's ever been. She doesn't put up with shit after. And like any trainer who goes through any athletic endeavor, when they deal with so much, it's actually more than trainers. Well, trainers, I think, are more healthy because they need that clean energy. So I don't think there's a lot of fucked up people who are top champions, something has to go really, really wrong. But mostly when people get out of a sickness or a close to death life and situation, at that point, everything also is lit and they're able to sever, again, because of no energy in the body and in the energy vibe, to hold on to cruddy, outmoded thoughts. They're able to start to rebuild, even if they're depleted in the beginning. So once you crack open, you're automatically, because the crud of the conditioning of the family is gone, you naturally replug into your feminine energy. And now you've got this expectation thing going on. A nice demeanor, but you know what you can give. And it's not even about what you can give anymore. Because a lot of masculine energy women know what they have to give, and so they scrutinize even harder. It's not that even. It's not about knowing what you can give. It's about you realize you're gold. You are pure gold. You just realize that's huge. And so you don't overdo, underdo, and read up all date books and stuff like that. You go and you see what he has to bring to you. And when a guy goes, when he's balanced with his not overly sensitive, emotional, will she hurt me, will she not? He knows if she says something that hurts him, that his dick isn't going to be snipped off and used as salami for an entree. What's going to happen is that he's going to say, I don't agree with that, or where are you getting that perception, or have you been tainted? It's not going to do anything to him. It's just her opinion. And so he's going to be grounded in his logic. He's going to be calm. There's a little bit of butterflies and eagerness. That's totally natural, especially if she's really hot and he's got this synergy with her. He can be extra careful. But because he's extra careful, he's going to be extra serious, and he's going to dig in deeper, and he's going to have all his equipment tuned in. And he's going to be very sharp. And he's going to observe everything. But he's not going to be able to take it in until he's away from you, because that's when they process things. They can't process things at the same time when they're with you. There's far too many heads to deal with, like too many. But they are going to take it in. So now that we understand, any warp energy will lead to a codependent relationship, because one will have a need to fix. That's a masculine energy. One will have a need to be codependent. That's a feminine energy. Needs that protection. And so the dark night of the soul, that's all it is. And so I urge you not to use those dating apps where you need to go poke at a guy first and you need to go say, I like you. Don't take the role of the leader in the romantic realm. You're here to see and to be presented. If there's a dating app that has them select you and you can say yes or no or maybe, that would be a lot better for you, because it puts you on your throne of receptive, of being receptive, on your throne of your birthright to receive and then give back. Otherwise, you will give in conversation, you will give in thoughts, you will give in maybe sexual favors, you will give maybe in money, you will give too much energy, you will give too much patience. He hasn't shown shit. Or the other guy will just do too much. Emotionally speaking, he'll be invested too soon. He doesn't even know if she's into him or whatever and stuff like that. Now, watch the way the media is leading the women to lead, which forces the guys to be passive as fuck, which means we're not interested in those weak type of guys, especially a high ambitious woman, so it will clear the way for the narcs. But you know you're not going to deal with a narc, because your energy is nowhere near that sliver of wondering and being scared that you're going to attract. And therefore, you will attract the most secure, bonded, unlike anything possible, understandable, blissful discussions back and forth, whether upset or not. It's just calm energy that you've ever could even begin to imagine. And that might freak you out, and that might set off a few triggers. There will be an adjustment phase, a little bit, and he will be totally patient, because as a man, he does not want to see you uncomfortable in the slightest. If it's a narc, he doesn't care that you're uncomfortable. Because if you say you're uncomfortable, he'll say, well, I'm uncomfortable too. Like, you know, forget childish, just a retarded male that is not fully developed. You can say tyrant, you can say elitism, you can say God complex, but the bottom line is that person has deep wounds, and that person has probably lived with a narc lady, and all that callous behavior she put on him, he now will put on the next woman, sadly. And he will be over demanding because he's been last so long. He now has got to be before first. So it will not be balanced. It will be more like a slave relationship. So I hope that this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. Don't forget to use the WISIO, and I look so forward to like communicating back and forth. And I love you madly, and I'll see you next time.